live today with Jeanette Burke. Hi, Jeanette. How are you doing?
Hi, Yara. How I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and I'm happy we have this warm welcome from Canada. Is it warm there still, or it's cold
Oh,
weather?
no, no. It's mega cold. We're like minus 20 something today and in for another snowstorm tomorrow, which might actually be a blizzard.
Oh no, but we know that you are definitely hot on your topics. That's why you definitely will not
Yeah.
be, blown away by this snowstorm. I'm happy for knowing you for this quality, and I'm happy to bring some, media light into your journey. That's awesome. Today, I want to start
Yeah.
with
Thank you.
one trend that is going over social media, and this trend is that 2026 is our new 2016. And a lot of people are comparing their 2016. What have they done there? Are you a person who is looking back into past, or you're more future oriented person?
So, while I believe the past can teach us some lessons that we should always maybe bear in mind, I'm a person who believes the past should stay in the past
Mm.
and that you don't grow or get ahead by going backwards. So I like to go forward.
That's amazing. Me too, actually. But if you guys want to do all the way around, if you want to be like going and learning from past, that's also the great option. Let us know below in comments. What did you learn from your past? What did your past taught you? That's going to be an amazing topic as well. But Jeanette, what did your past teach you for over these 10 years? What are you grateful for your 2016, let's say?
Okay, to be honest with you, I don't know if I remember that much about 2016, but I do remember one thing or two. I remember that I was already starting Jeanette Burke Productions, that I had found my own crew, that we were filming already my own stuff, that I had already left the studios behind. I remember that I was working the red carpets at TIFF 2016. Um, so I think there was some really beautiful things and great memories from 2016 of which I can recall. Um,
But you
I would
named a lot.
say
You named a lot. And what the
a lot.
conclusion?
Okay.
The
I
main
used to have a
conclusion we
memory
can
like an
say,
elephant.
yeah, the main
I used
conclusion
to
we can
have a memory
say,
like an elephant. Like an elephant, I had a memory. I can
but the
remember
good news is
26.
that you are still on track. What you've been doing 10 years ago, you keep going today. Keep going and doing today.
Well,
But
I'm doing
during
it better
this
though, thanks to you.
That's obviously we'll polish in our every step of our life. Actually, that's what I believe in. If we stick to our one way strategy, it's like a biggest goal. So, did you in 2016? Did you visualize? Did you envision that you will have this huge journey ahead in media about your podcast, about your channel, about growing your audience, about like meeting a lot of people on the red carpets? Do you feel like you hit the goal, or you're still on the way?
I feel like I'm still on the way, but perhaps I'm taking a different route to get there. I think in 2016, my vision was more about, more, I was doing more also consulting at that time, and I didn't really love it. I think my vision kind of has always been about how am I going to stay course and make money monetizing. 10 years ago, I think I was also thinking about how I'm going to balance this career as a mediapreneur. I like to call myself a mediapreneur as opposed to an entrepreneur. I think I had some doubts as to how I was going to balance that out with my personal life. Um, because I was in probably a relationship at that time. And I think I had some challenges because often what I have found, maybe other women in journalists have found this too, that depending on who you're dating or who you're with in a relationship at the time, not every man really appreciates a woman in this type of business or in this type of industry, especially working red carpets, right? So, and being out a lot, because I was out a lot, like probably every other day, if not almost every day, covering all kinds of events, which, I love that. I love being out and about, as we say in Canada, it's an expression, out and about. I'm a schmoozer. I'm a cruiser, and I'm a sociable person normally, and, I love to be seen in all the right places with all the right people, and I was seeing a lot of A-list type of people, right? So, for me, that was exciting and fulfilling and rewarding because I never thought that I was going to have that place there, that place would be reserved for me. Don't forget, Yara, I come from a small town called Belleville, Ontario. And for a little Belleville girl to get as far as I did with the amount of interviews I did with the type of, A-list celebrities I did, I didn't know if that was ever going to be possible, but
But that
I
was
did have the
always your
vision.
dream. That was always your
Yes,
dream,
I had
Jeanette.
the vision, I had the dream, and I'll tell you, no one was gonna stand in my way, and I did it. I absolutely did it. That was what I wanted, and come hell or high water, nothing was gonna stop me. A lot of people have read my aura,
Mhm.
and they say, "Jeanette, you can move mountains?" And I'm like, "Yes, maybe I can. I've been known to." I wanna share with you, I'm Jewish and I have a Hebrew name, and my Hebrew name is Yidis Golda, which translates to in English Jeanette Gale. Now, Golda, okay, that's where I get a lot of perseverance and strength and courage, and dare I say, chutzpah from like a gold in my ear, right? Like she could move mountains too, right? So
Yeah.
I'm
I
proud
never knew
that
you
I can
as
do that.
Golda. Wow.
Yeah, my Jewish name or my Hebrew name is Yidis Golda. Now, Yidis is actually a Yiddish name. I don't have a first Hebrew name, but Golda is the second name for Jeanette Gale is my name, right, in English.
Wow. What a kind of story this is. That's amazing. And
Mhm.
that's not, that explains a lot because it explains why you definitely are the person who we want to look up to make you, maybe I would even say, as a role model for a lot of girls out there, a lot of women, that your example can prove there is never, ever something you cannot overcome or challenge yourself with. So, what is your own recipe of overcoming challenges? Tell me, how do you do this? How did you make this work out, all in all?
Okay, so yeah, you know what? The challenges, they've been quite a few. And sometimes we put a smile on our face and we show the world one aspect of ourselves and they don't really know what's going on inside the turmoil. So, how do I get through challenges? Well, like every girl, I think initially, or like most girls, I kind of cry in the beginning. Like I go there. Okay. I'm not going to say I don't because I'm a girl. I'm a woman. I have feelings. I have emotions. And I have a feminine side, even though some people think I'm, very strong. And yeah, I'm strong because I have to be. Uh, I've been called aggressive. I don't like that. Okay. I don't feel I'm aggressive. I feel I'm assertive, and there is a big difference. And believe it or not, Yara, people compare me to Miss Piggy all the time. Now, she's a diva, she's a star, so I won't take that too personally because that's who I want to be. And maybe that's who I'm naturally born to be, since I knew from the time I was three, that I want to be on TV. I want to be on camera. I believe there's a celebrity sort of in my soul, maybe in my past life, I was a celebrity of some sort. Maybe I'm reliving part of that. I don't know because I don't know. I don't do that much soul therapy, but there's a natural affiliation for me and stars or me and celebrities. I never feel like I'm with this person who's way above me, or I'm, like I don't feel that way when I connect with celebrities, which by the way has been going on long before I was Jeanette from Jeanette's TV podcast or Jeanette's I'm Every Woman TV prior to that. Um, I have been connecting with celebrities since I was a little girl. I'm not kidding. I used to meet them all the time and like effortlessly. It was instant connection. I always felt like I was having a conversation with someone who was like me. And it wasn't because they were a star. I was not starstruck. Felt more like I was with an equal. You know what I mean? Like, uh, that whatever they had to say, they would resonate with me. Why? Because most people don't realize this, but a lot of celebrities come from nothing and actually really had a lot of struggles too. And there's a lot of shared likeness in their background and mine. Not just the creativity, because I too like to perform, act, sing, dance, interview, red carpet, whatever, all of it, right? There is that, I guess, similarity, but there's also the other things that these people do along the way that also resonated deeply with me. So therefore, when I met with them, I just felt like I was catching up with an old
Old
friend that
friends,
we were,
right?
having an interview, but it was really like a conversation where they're sharing stuff about themselves or catching me up on their latest project. And, like coming home and just having a coffee and talking about it. You know what, Yara? That's my unique approach to interviewing. I don't want it to be so formal all the time. I want it to feel like a conversation, and I want my audience to feel like they're part of that conversation, sort of like the fly on the wall hearing the conversation. And that's
Wow.
why I conduct interviews the way I do. That's my style. And my questions are very pinpointed. And although they are well researched and I am extremely prepared, sometimes I want it to feel like it's really like off the cuff, like not so structured, even though it's structured, it's just a talent I have. It may
Good.
seem like,
Amazing.
oh, well, this is just happening in real time, but people don't, I do have the preparation is what I'm trying to say, but I try to make it come off like it's more natural, more organic, more conversational. And that I think has been something that's always also worked in my favor to unite me with celebrities that actually want to talk to me like a person to a person, a friend to a friend, not like, oh, here's the big celebrity up here and here's like me down here. It's never been like that for me.
And I am super proud of you about this point because a lot of people, they when they come to our classes, when they only start the journey, they only always start with this like, oh my God, what if I meet this person? This person means the world to me. How will I feel? How will I act? But I love that you are super
You got to
ready to
remember that that person is a
a
person just
person,
like
right?
you. That
Just like
person
you.
has gone through financial challenges, all kinds of challenges, just like you and me, right? They didn't start at the top. A lot
Yes.
of them actually start at the bottom and they have to get very creative about how they become a star. The journey along the way isn't always a straight line for them, as it isn't for any other successful person. So
Or
that's
any other
important.
person, I would say.
Yeah. And so therefore, um, I don't treat them like they're gods or goddesses, right? And like, they may have the attitude of that, but I don't treat them that way. I treat them like the person that they are, and I explore their journey with them. And I can only say that that has only yielded me favorable results. Like, I'll give you an example. So when I was interviewing Tyler Perry once at the red carpets of TIFF during his premiere movie, A Jazz Man's Blues, it was on Netflix. And I got my chance with him because from being a journalist, you got to line up and you got to wait for your
Yes.
chance, and you don't get a lot of time, so you got to really go for it, like to get to the heart of the
Like,
matter.
like what I teach usually our students, not a lot of time. Go straight forward.
Yeah, so you got to cut to the chase. That's my point. And so I don't think I had a lot of time with him, but there was one question I was going to ask come hell or high water, and I know no one else asked it. And that question was, you were living in your car, you had no money, and what held you through to becoming a billionaire? What kept you going? Because most people in his position with his arsenal background, like, he had sexual abuse, he had all these things, might have given up. But he held the course. He was sleeping in his car. He had no money of any kind, right? No job, no problem. And all of a sudden, things changed. And next thing you know, he's a billionaire. So, what was that journey like for him? And I asked him, how did you hold on? And he paused and he said, you know what? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. And then he said, he held on to his faith. And that's what got him through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people can't do that. They don't have that kind of commitment to God or to the higher being or the universe or whatever. But he did. And I guess it worked for him. Anyway, the point is, I wasn't afraid to ask him that kind of a question because it's real and it's raw. And you know what? It's what the people want to know.
That's
That's the
true.
truth,
And I
you
love that
know?
you know what people want to know from you. And I love that you have a chance to give it to them. And I really love, and I'm so grateful for this year that we've been doing together the classes. So, my question is I know it's not the new year now. I mean, it's already the new year started. Like we're 3 weeks already after the celebration. However, if making a little bit of conclusion, of this 1 year in MediaStar School, what new have you learned or unfold for yourself in terms of the practical skills? What uplifted you or elevated or propel you to the new levels?
Well, I find everything we do like a new challenge. So I'm very eager to absorb and incorporate it. So, I like to be like a top level student. I love to learn everything I can and try to remember and put it into practice. So I will say this, that yes, it is 3 weeks into the new year. It's still a new year. Um, so recently, like last week, I'm coming up with new ways to keep going, right? Because I have to, you know why. And I did a very good interview last week, Thursday, with a book author, a very nice woman. And her book is coming out this next week, the 20th. Or is it this week? You know what? I'm losing track. So much goes on here. Um, and I noticed as I was interviewing her, the types of questions that I was asking her, the ending with the zinger, the the preparing, the sort of like not just diving right into the question, but having like a little intro into the question as well, were things that I had picked up from you, right? And I noticed that my interview style is you know changing a little bit. I like to say improving. That's the word I'm looking for. And actually, somebody said something to me the other day that I actually was very offended by, but I'm going to share it anyway. Um, they said that they noticed over the years that my interview questions were more about the guests and less about me. And I thought to myself, well, isn't that a revelation, right? Because you know what? Nothing I've ever done, not one thing, every time I've interviewed everybody, it's always been to showcase them. It was always about them. It had nothing to do with me. I might have found something in common with them that I might have, you know, stated in the course of the interview. Oh, that happened to me too, or something of that nature. But no, it was never, for me to be about me. I like, I get accused of, "Oh, this is all about your ego. This whole business is
Mm-hmm.
all about your ego." No, it isn't, people. It may seem that way, but actually, absolutely not. This business is about showcasing and highlighting other people, their stories, their books, their products, their movies, whatever they're hawking, right? That is what we do as journalists. That's what publicity is all about. And I've known that for many years. before I was even on this side of the camera. I was previously on the other side of the camera as a PR person, and it's always about providing education and story and not being super salesy, right? That is exactly what media and journalism is all about. So I understand that. So, I've always held that dear to me and to the goal of the interview. That's another thing I learned. You got to have a goal. And maybe that's tighter now. My goal is tighter. It's more exact. It's more precise. And so these are the things I've noticed. I want to notice more. I want to keep growing. And all I can say to you is that I came into your course already an established journalist and interviewer. And I already knew kind of how to do some things and probably some things correctly. But I was very earnest to evolve. And I made that one of my top priorities with you. I articulated that to you. I said, Yara, I am here. I've reached this. I've attained this level. I got to go beyond that. Can you please help me get there? Can you make me better? Right? Because that's what life is about. Getting back to your first question. Okay.
Yeah.
Life is not about being stagnant.
Or
Life
being
is
stuck in the
about,
past. The word
that's right.
evolve was exactly the word I wanted to sum it up. I wanted to say, so look how you evolved this time, and you name it. And I am super, excited about this because this is,
That's right. It's about moving forward.
yeah,
And we move forward in different ways in life, one through strategy, one through commitment, one through, plan of action, follow through or follow up. These are different ways we kind of move forward in life. This brain never turns off. I'm not kidding. It's like a computer. Okay. I
I know
never
that.
turn it off. And
Yeah.
I'm always like listening and processing and listening and processing. And I'm thirsty for knowledge. I love connection. I love people. I love talking to people. I love hearing their stories. And I also want them to know me and my story, right? I want it to be like a bond, right? A relationship, if you will. And for me, the camera is the tool that captures that relationship, right? That's what it means to me to be a good journalist, is to get at it and make sure that whatever I'm getting, the content resonates with the audience, because like inquiring minds, they want to know. And my minds are savvy women over 40 minds, and they want to know specifically to savvy women over 40, but that's what they want to know. It's my job to give it to them, no matter who I interview.
That sounds like a toast to the new year and sounds like a big goal. And to sum it up, Jeanette, I would definitely want to know your biggest goal for 2026, what to expect from Jeanette's TV podcast and what to expect from you personally. Maybe you're on up to some new things, new projects. Let us know. Give us a little behind the scenes.
Well, yes, Yara, I have been working on some new things. So I would say I have kind of like a two-pronged 2026 goal. For Jeanette's TV podcast, we're going to keep going. We have altered a lot of things out of necessity. So we've gone kind of more lifestyle with my spin-off segments, including Cooking with Jeanette, Jeanette's Tips and Sips, and Jeanette's Take On. We are still covering a percentage of lifestyle and entertainment, although probably less than we did before. Again, not necessarily by choice, but out of necessity. I'm definitely making my way more towards the US and more American events and red carpets, even if they are virtual. And we've been, I say we, as in my team and I, have been applying for accreditation there, as well as foreign events that I have not covered previously. I'm hoping that I will still have some Canadian high caliber events open to me, because I definitely would like to do something Canadian, seeing as there's just not that many Canadian events to choose from. And of course, if the gatekeepers keep me out, then the opportunities are even less. So I'm hoping that that will change and I will be invited back, that I will also be recognized, appreciated, and respected as I once was as a media darling that I was, and not as a media outcast, which I now feel that I have been improperly labeled or unfairly labeled. I want to forge ahead as a exemplary model or leader for disabled journalists who are often eliminated from red carpets and other events, despite being equally knowledgeable, capable, and able to do the job at hand or the task at hand, or even look as good. I don't want to be omitted also because I am a savvy woman over 40, nor do I want to be omitted because I'm Jewish, because these are all discriminatory characteristics. I have a disability. I work around it. It's been 2.5 years, and yes, I've had to make a lot of adjustments, and it has affected my work. But I'm moving ahead positively. I am finding alternative ways of filming, including more virtual filming. um I hope and I look forward to bringing content to my Savvy Woman Over 40 that is really juicy and meaningful and heartfelt. And I know I'm already doing it, but I'm going to do it even more, even more,
I
even more.
believe it.
And the last thing is, I have a completely different business model than I had previously that also came at a necessity, given that I am a full-time caregiver to my elderly mom, and I'm working around that to be a mediapreneur and keep Jeanette Burke Productions and Jeanette's TV podcast and its spinoffs going. Not an easy fate. Obviously, I can no longer work the 60 to 80 hours I once did per week. I'm down to about 25-ish. So that changed a lot of things. And my number one thing now, other than growing my YouTube channel, is really getting hired as a red carpet event host, interviewer, MC speaker, and brand ambassador for sponsors of lifestyle brands. So that's my number one thing. I also do a little acting, modeling, and voiceover stuff on the side. And I have a new type of sponsorship offer, which I'm not going to go too heavily into right now because we're still working out the nooks and nuances on, but it will involve a featured expert segment on my channel to my audience. And it's going to be a little bit unique because that is a form of a sponsorship offer. And that's what I want to go with as opposed to what I had been doing in the past. So you see, Yara, we ended where we began. The past
Yes.
is in the past. I've learned from my mistakes and I am moving forward
That's
with a
exactly what
plan
was
of
the
success.
goal. What was the goal of my interview? To show everyone, to show every woman behind the screen that the any, as you mentioned, any journey, any way, any, like, let's say, trail, road, whatever, is not straight. It goes ups and down. It goes somewhere around, but it's only you who navigates the journey. And I really love that Jeanette's example will show you the way. So subscribe to Jeanette's TV podcast. Let us know below in comments what topics would you appreciate on Jeanette's channel, because that's also important, because Jeanette is really here for us, for our growth, for our support, for our community. So thank you, Jeanette, for this. And I really believe that if you have all of these challenges all at once, it means you're strong enough to not only overcome them, but also to share your journey, to inspire others. That's your superpower. And I believe this in this and let this happen in 2026. Thank you for
Can
joining
I
us.
add just one thing before we go? I have
Sure.
one other big goal.
Go ahead.
I want to grace the red carpet again. And I think, the biggest events that'll have me, Canada, I want to be on those red carpets again because I have earned my spot there, and I truly believe I deserve to be on there. And I'm going to continue to keep my weight down as I have been for the last 2 years. And I'm gonna be on those red carpets in another stunning gown provided by my clothing sponsor. And I can't wait for the day.
And by the way, to check out Jeanette's previous gown, you need to subscribe to her channel. Go do this now. Thank you, Jeanette. See you in the next live sessions and our classes. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.